up to date in science, article alerts and RSS might be your key to success. So it's really hard to keep up with all of the findings in science, and even in a particular research area, because there's so much coming out all the time. And so today I want to talk about some tools that you can use to try to stay up to date. Things like pub crawler, search alerts with Google Scholar, as well as like RSS feeds. That are going to take content and like in particular areas like new content, and you can use an aggregator to kind of show it all. And so I am new to some of these things, but I'm trying to transition over because all my old alerts and things were set up for topics I researched in grad school. And now that I am starting my postdoc and I need to learn about these new areas and stay up to date in this new area, I'm trying out these different things, and so I thought I would take you with me and see if you guys have any other better suggestions, because I am trying out different things because I'm at the start, so I can do that. Okay, let's dive in.
So the main things I want to talk about today are like alerts and also like RSS feed aggregators, things like this that'll let you see content, new content from various like feeds that you want to subscribe to that you can find on their websites, as well as make like custom feeds. And so I'll talk about this a little later, but I just want to start off with like alerts. This is probably the easiest type of thing. So with the feed readers, what you're basically doing is you're saying, show me the new content on this, like from this website on this subject. And then it'll aggregate it all into a feed. And there are different tools that you can use this. I'm trying out some. I've never actually used an RSS reader, so I'm trying out some different ones. But when it comes to alerts, these are actually going to send you like emails and things based on key topics. And so one of the first things when you're starting out in like a new research area is you want to identify the key people, the key labs. And so often there are going to be labs that are basically have a lot of like cred in the field, and a lot of important research in the field is coming out of their lab. And so you can set up alerts for those authors. And you also want to set up alerts for terms, but not super duper generic terms, like more specific terms. So by setting up terms, you can then get the research that's coming out from new people and from other labs. And so I'm not saying you should always focus on just those top authors, but it's important to stay up to date on their work, because, well, for one, that's what other people, it's kind of like one of those things, like you should know what their work comes out, and hopefully they have that credentials because or that reputation because they do good work. But anyway, so what you can do is you can actually search for a topic, or you can search for a paper in PubMed or in like Google Scholar, and then you can set up alerts with either of these. So for Google Scholar, what if I want to, this is good. I like Google Scholar for people. So Denisa Fujimori is my new boss here. And so you can actually, with Google Scholar, they have like user profiles, and you can actually see like all of the different papers. You can see them by year, by topic, and then you can get links to them. I can also, if I want to get alerts about it, I can follow it. And I can set it to follow like new articles by her, new citations to her, or new articles related to her research. And so I can choose what type of alerts that I want. And then when things become available, like when new content comes up, then I will get an email. You can also do the same sort of thing in PubMed. I can see her on PubMed, and then I can create an alert. And then I have options for alerts here as well. And I can do similar things if I wanted to make a topic. So what if I want to do a ribosome profiling? And so typically you would probably want to do a more specific alert than something just like this, but I can create an alert to have it send me an alert if this search term comes up. And I can also make more complicated searches, like you can use plus and, or if you use an asterisk, it'll have like anything after. So if I want like that, it would do like ribosomal, ribosome, like it'll have everything that would come after that in the search. And then you can create alerts. When it comes though to, so this is searching, so this would be through PubMed, and you can set up these different alerts. Or what you can do is this pub crawler tool. So I'm actually new to this pub crawler, but I was asking around, trying to get people suggestions for how I can stay up to date on all the literature. And this came up and I found it a really helpful tool. So with both this and like the NIH, so with the PubMed thing, you have to set up an account, but it's free. And what you can do once you set up an account with the pub crawler, what it's going to do is it's going to scan scan PubMed and GenBank, and then it's going to send you like send you an email at the schedule that you want with those terms. And you can have things, you can set a lot of different search terms, search fields and connectors. So maybe I want to make a new query. So I see this query I was just testing things out, but I have ribosome profiling or ribosome footprinting or riboseq or in the title or the abstract, and then also riboteq in the text just as a word. And so then what happens is we set it to give you an email, and then it'll send you an email with all of the different results that you can then go look at. And so if I still need to figure out all of the various stuff about it, but basically how it works is that you can just, if I wanted to name this like query 2, if I wanted to search for, we'll just use data again, and then I could do like search by author. And if I wanted to then finish this, I could now have 2 queries defined, and I can then you can set the schedule as well as what you want them to send you. And so now you can get this query, you can have it so that it's sending you from multiple queries. So you don't have to have like individual queries in your ribosome, like in your NIH. And so you can get kind of more of a condensed version. And so I'm looking forward to playing around more with this, because I think that's going to be really helpful, because I kind of find it after I started setting up all these individual alerts for things. And so I'm guessing that my email is going to get like really, really crazy. So the reason why I'm like finding all this new stuff and things. And so in grad school, I used this like Scopus, which we had access to there, but we don't have access to here. But here I have access to all sorts of other things. And so another tool is Science Finder, CAS, or SciFinder. So you might have access to this at your institution, and it's a really helpful tool for like chemistry and things. And so you can set alerts for various topics and various compounds. And so as I'm getting more into like chemical biology side of things, I have some alerts set up to tell me about when there's a new paper on one of these compounds. What's really cool too is that with the SciFinder, it actually like you can look, it'll show you a bunch of like patents and stuff, which is really interesting, going deep into what's actually inside of things. But anyway, yes, this is like a thing that you might have access to through your institution. Okay, so another place, so those were searching like PubMed and stuff, but not all of the content is going to be published literature or published articles. And so a lot of some work will be like preprints. So these haven't gone through peer review. When it comes to biomedical type of research, this is often going to be in bioRxiv. There are also like Chem Archive, Med Archive, there's a Physics Archive, various different preprint servers. But with these servers, you have the option to set up alerts for here as well. So there was this paper that I actually found through one of the RSS feeds. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But this cool paper. And so what I can do is that I can follow this preprint What I can have it give me alerts if there are comments on it, if there are new versions of it. So often with the preprint, there'll be like new versions will be posted, or when it gets published. And so it can be helpful to see those updated versions in the published version to see if anything has changed, especially if you really care about a paper. And then maybe you're really interested in it and then some things change a little, you'll want to know about that. And so you can see this, as well as sometimes they have peer reviews that are posted alongside the article. Some journals do that. And so they'll actually post the reviews to the preprint server as well as if the article has been withdrawn. And so you can, if you set up to follow it, then you'll be able to see that sort of thing. Another place where you can things can be that aren't going to be in one of those like PubMed or anything is often I really like watching video lectures from people. And these are often just like randomly, like it's not something that you can easily set. Like on YouTube, they sometimes they'll have talks. There are certain channels that I subscribe to where they have like weekly lectures. And some like NIH has some good like Wednesday week or day or whatever lectures. There's some other good sources. HHMI like Janelia has some cool talks. So I have some channel like some subscriptions, but often I just like search for the names of researchers that I'm interested in or topics that I'm interested in. And there are ways that you can actually, I found with Google, you can actually set alerts to have it search for a term, like you can have a source read video. And so I've actually never tried this. I was just looking around to see things. I also found this one way to set up like this with custom code to set up YouTube email alerts, but I haven't tried it out yet. I'm a little, don't know if this is all, I've never done that basically. And I don't want to mess anything up. But yeah, so I do recommend that you YouTube key topics and key researchers, especially you can narrow the search on YouTube to be like longer than 20 minutes. And when you do that, then you're more likely to get the actual lectures by these people. And so often they're giving invited lectures at various places. And when they're talking about their research and when people are asking questions and you can actually hear them talk and answer these questions, you often get a lot of information that you couldn't get just from reading the papers. And this can be really valuable, as well as sometimes just like seeing what they're thinking about. And they'll either be asked, when people publish a paper, it's been like they're often like moved on from that project, or they've made further findings since they did that. And so it can be really helpful to hear where they are like right now, and get the most up-to-date information and that sort of thing. And so I like to check out and see if people have posted lectures on those topics. And so you can set up alerts like this as well. Okay, so now let's talk about RSS feeds. So basically RSS feeds, you can set these up to have at different websites that you can have get not alerts, but get the articles, like a collation of all the articles or whatever on a various topic or from a various paper. So the new content. So if for some things you can just have it like Nature itself has like its own like overall RSS feed, like for new articles and stuff. But a lot of times if you're not interested in all of those articles, you don't want like, if you know what topics you're most interested in, then they have like sub feeds. And so just for an example, if you go to Nature, you can just like Google it and you'll find it, but they have this Nature if you go like by subjects. So what you could do is they have some subjects that you can choose. And if you go to this like RSS feed, if you click on this, it's like, what the heck do I do with this? And so at first I was really confused because I'd never actually worked with RSS feeds. But if you just copy and paste this, what you can do is then you can then add it to your feed reader. So something like this is NewsBlur, but there's also like Feedly, the old reader, inner reader. I'm trying out some different things, seeing what I can get the most for free out of, and seeing then if I need to pay for something. But so far, it's really helpful. And then you can just add the new site. So I already have this added, but I could add it here. You can also search for different things. in the different feed readers to see various feeds without doing it directly from the website. What's cool too is that, so that was one of the kind of like pre-packaged ones, if you will, from Nature, but you can also, if you just like search for a term, so if I just search for ribosome, I can have it make I can get like a feed of just ribosomes, and I can make an RSS feed with just ribosomes. And so if I just put you, and I think you can just put any word here, any search word that you want after this subjects and then before the RSS. And so I was able to make like a custom feed on the topics that I want. So I just then can copy and paste this and add a feed on ribosomes. There also, if you go to various websites, they'll have RSS feeds for various things. So like the journal RNA over here, it has this option like email alerts and RSS feeds. So you can get RSS for like in advance articles. So this is what I added, or you can have it for like the current issue, and then you'll have that in your feed thing. So those were just a couple examples, but you'll often see options for RSS feeds in various websites and for various topics. So like bioRxiv, they have a lot of different RSS feeds as well. So if you go to like alerts RSS, then they have these different feeds that you can look for, and you can also combine these. So I have one where I have like subject equals biochemistry plus molecular biology. And note that if the word has if there's two words, so I like underscore between molecular and biology. And so they have different topics that you can do to set up alerts through bioRxiv so that you're getting alerts about those preprints as well. And so these would be like topic-based things rather than keyword-based things, because often you care about like specific keywords, but you don't want to miss what else is going on. And plus those keywords might not always be in the title or wherever it's searching. And so you want to make sure that you're not keeping too narrow of a look with your with all of your alerts and all of your that sort of things. And then so when it comes going back to like PubMed, okay, going back to PubMed, it turns out that you can actually make custom RSS feeds with PubMed. So say I wanted to set up a feed where I wanted to look at ribosome profiling, and maybe, okay, so ribosome profiling Ignolia, let's go with that. So he's a key player in developing this technology. And so what I can do is I can create an alert like we talked about before, or I can actually create an RSS. I can create an RSS and it'll make a link, and then I can copy this link, and then I can add this custom RSS. When I do this, I now have a brand new feed here, and then I can see the different things related to that topic. And then of course there are other options that you can modify things as well, use different search terms and combinations of like Boolean stuff like and, or, not, that sort of thing, to make really complex alerts or feeds or things that you want. And finally, a lot of things have like blogs and stuff that will have a feed, even if they don't set one up. And so, for example, I didn't even know till today that I had a feed, but if you go to my blog, thebumblingsbiochemist.com, and I do /feed. Now what happens is it's taking a second, but then what's going to happen is that when I have new posts come up, you'll be able to see the content here. And then you can like go into the various posts and stuff. And I'm not saying this just to like get people to go to my blog, but because I think it's cool, and that you can then see, you can make feeds for various sites. And I didn't know about this before, so I think it's really cool. And so yeah, So if you wanted to keep up to date on my new blog stuff, you can do it that way. And then you don't have to be getting, like, you can already subscribe to get like emails when I have new content, but if you don't want to be getting emails, you can just have them on your feed. Okay. And so, yeah, so I'm going to be checking out different readers, I think, and setting up some more alerts with various ways, playing around with pub crawler and things that I haven't really used much before. Okay, so hope that was helpful. Hope that I can stay up to date.